Well, Vancouver City Council is expected to vote today on a controversial application for a 40-story skyscraper. David Zura has more.
It's easy to imagine that the very few views of our mountains will be blocked by gigantic towers that nobody can afford in the future.
Today, Vancouver's mayor and council will be voting on a significant decision, whether or not to allow Crown Corporation Pavco to build a 400-foot, 40-story residential tower that for the first time will push beyond the height limits set out by Vancouver's view cone policy. Now, if you're not familiar with the term view cone, essentially it's a large area on a map that usually starts with a focal point that fans outward, usually in the shape of a pizza or a pie slice or a cone. Now, within that area, buildings are capped at how high they can be built. The goal is to preserve the vistas. An example here, I'm standing right inside one of these view cones at the intersection of 10th and Canby. We can see some public art right behind me, then the skyline after that, but then still the mountains beyond that. In a report generated by city staff, we can see how the tower proposed to go up right next door to BC Place would poke just a touch into the protected zone. But with two other towers proposed to follow, that has some residents worried this development represents the thin edge of the wedge.
This will set a precedent for other real estate developers to also want to pressure the city to allow them to penetrate these public view cones and block the beautiful mountains that is part of Vancouver.
Now, the city's official report recommends council approve the 400-foot version of the project versus a 300-foot version that's wider and eats more into public space. In a statement, Pavco says the development of lands around BC Place Stadium has been a part of the vision for the site for many years, and says as for choosing between a 300 or 400-foot design, both provide the same density, and Pavco is supportive of either option. Currently, the petition against the proposed development has over 2,000 signatures and more than 150 letters of opposition, although there are at least 9 letters expressing support. Vancouver's so-called view cone policy has been in place since 1989. There are currently 27 zones that carry that designation. In Vancouver, David Zura, City News.